What if the reason you still feel stuck is not because you are not spiritual enough, but because you are attached to one layer of consciousness and calling it your whole self? Just think about that. What if the body is not the problem? The mind is not the problem. The emotions are not the problem. Even spirituality is not the problem. But attachment is. And if that is true, then the real work is not escaping life. The real work is learning how to experience every layer of life without getting trapped in any of them. That is what I want to talk about today. Yes, we are spiritual beings. Yes, we are soul. But we do not come here to reject the human experience. We came here to move through it consciously. The physical, the emotional, the mental, the energetic, and the spiritual. Every layer matters. The problem begins when we get attached to just one of them, or when we reject one of them completely, or when we use one layer to avoid the others. And that is where karma repeats. So, karma reset is not about becoming less human, it is about becoming more aware. Experience every layer, but attached to none. A lot of people are taught spirituality in a very incomplete way, almost like there is only one right way to live, one right way to eat, one right way to pray, one right way to meditate, one right way to be detached, and sometimes, if I am being honest, that becomes spiritual bypass. Because people start using spiritual language to avoid real work, to avoid pain, to avoid emotion, to avoid the body, to avoid truth. And we all do this somewhere, don't we? Let's talk about spirituality for a moment, all right? I mean, I know people who are eating sattvic, living simply, reading scriptures, meditating for hours, chasing higher states, psychic powers, mystical experiences. And yet, they are still restless, still hungry, still desperate, still comparing, still trying to get somewhere. Why? Because attachment is still there. Attachment to being pure, attachment to being advanced, attachment to having an experience even, right? Like attachment to being seen as spiritual. And the moment attachment enters, awareness goes down. That is the trap. So the issue is not whether something looks spiritual. The issue is, are you free within it or are you attached to it? That changes everything, doesn't it? Think of consciousness like a 5-story house. One floor is the body, one is the emotion, one the mind, one is energy, one is spiritual awareness. Now imagine living your whole life on just one floor. If you live only on the physical floor, life becomes survival, pleasure, appearances, control. If you live only on the emotional floor, every feeling becomes your identity. If you live only on the mental floor, overthinking becomes your master. If you live only on the energetic floor, you become obsessed with signs, frequencies, and states. And if you live only on the spiritual floor while rejecting the rest of the house, then you are not transcending life. You are escaping it. The real work is to know the whole house, to move through every floor consciously, and to remember that you are more than just any one room in it. That is awareness. That is karma reset. In yoga, this is why layers matter so much. Sometimes what needs work is your body. Rest, food, nervous system regulation. Sometimes what needs work is your emotional layer. Grief, anger, fear, honesty. Sometimes what needs work is your mind. Stories, beliefs, mental noise. Sometimes what needs work is your energy. What you're absorbing, what you're carrying, what you need to clear. And sometimes what you need most is spiritual connection. Silence, prayer, surrender. But most people confuse one layer for the whole truth. And that is where suffering deepens, doesn't it? You could either keep trying to become more spiritual by escaping your life, or you could become more conscious inside your life. You could either keep saying, I just want peace, I just want detachment, I just want to rise above this all, or you could ask, what part of me is still attached here, and what is this layer trying to teach me? That is a completely different path, because one is avoidance, the other is awareness. And awareness is what transforms karma. This is why I keep saying the problem is not the layer. The body is not the enemy. Emotions are not the enemy. The mind is not the enemy. Energy is not the enemy. Spirituality is not the enemy. But attachment is. The body is beautiful, but attachment turns it into control. Emotions are sacred, but attachment turns them into identity. The mind is powerful, but attachment turns thoughts into truth. Energy is real, but attachment turns it into obsession. Spirituality is essential, but attachment can even turn that into ego. And that is a hard truth. But it is such an important one. It is like holding sand in your hand. If your hand is open, you can feel it, you can experience it, you can learn from it. But the tighter you grip it, the more you lose. That is what attachment does. You are meant to experience life. Love it, feel it, learn from it. But the moment you grip too hard, this must stay, this must happen, I must have this, I must remain this way, I must have this spiritual experience, I am the most spiritual person in the world, you lose your center. And when you lose your center, your purpose gets blurred. Not because purpose disappeared, but because attachment got louder. You can either keep chasing experiences and letting them define you, or you can start experience life fully while remembering who you are beneath it. You can either keep getting attached to what feels good, what feels painful, what feels spiritual, what feels powerful, or you can begin asking, am I present with this, or am I imprisoned by it? That question will tell you everything, because every single person gets attached somewhere. Every single person. Some attached to pain because it feels familiar, some attached to control because it feels safe, some attached to success because it gives identity, some attached to spirituality because it makes them feel protected or even special. So this is not about judgment, it is about seeing clearly. And every single time you see clearly, attachment loosens. So how does this connect to the Karma Reset method? Very simply. Karma Reset is the practice of becoming aware of every layer of consciousness and not getting attached to any one of them. When you are attached, you react. When you react, you repeat. When you repeat, karma deepens. But when awareness enters, you begin to witness. When you witness, you begin to choose. And when you choose consciously, the old pattern starts breaking. That is the reset. Not escaping life, not rejecting the world, not pretending to be beyond it all, but living here fully, consciously, wisely. The body matters, the emotions matter, the mind matters, energy matters, spirit matters. All of them matter, but none of them on their own are the whole of you. So before we move into the soul in the next episode, I want you to sit with this. Maybe your purpose is not to reject the world. Maybe your purpose is not to cling to it either. Maybe your purpose is to move through every layer of consciousness with awareness, to experience fully, to feel fully, to live fully, and to attach to none. Because the moment you get attached to one layer, you start mistaking it for yourself. And that is when purpose gets lost. But the moment you remember, I am experiencing this, but I am not only this, something shifts, doesn't it? If this spoke to you and if you are ready to go deeper with me, join the Karma Reset meditation community, because this work becomes so much more powerful when we do it together. To be part of the community, click on description and then click on more. Scroll down all the way, you'll get to the link. Click on that and then click here. That's it. You'll be part of the community. So drop a hi. Next episode is going to be amazing because it's all about the soul. I know we have so many questions about the soul and I'll be answering so many of them in the next episode. So I will see you there. Till then, take care.